nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Marla, would you do a roll call, please?
Mayor Nicholson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Sanger,
Here.
Councilmember Dirks.
Here.
Espinoza,
Here.
Martinez,
Here.
Smith, Wells. Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. We'll start out with citizens' participation. Linda, do you have something you'd like to start with?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to ask this council to take a minute of silence for the family and friends of Steve Wilcoxon, who was on the Saratoga Council and was lost in a boating accident a couple days ago.
Okay.
So if we could do that.
Okay, thank you, Linda, for that. We'll move on down to the public comment portion.
Oh, I thought you were saying that, sorry. I thought that's what
Oh, no. So now we're on the public comment portion. And this is the time if anybody wants to come up and speak about anything that's not on the agenda. Now's the time to do it for up to 5 minutes.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, just wanted to take a quick moment. A few months ago, I came to this board asking for help. When I took this temporary position back in January, one of the biggest things I found was we as a community, or we as a staff and we as a council don't communicate. We don't communicate efficiently. We don't communicate effectively. In that meeting, I requested for 2 positions to be added to the city roles, community relations coordinator and HR specialist. These are very, very important to both the public, to my staff, and this council. We are able now to have the resources to communicate with the public better. Information out. I think a lot of the issues we face are because we don't get the information out to them in a quick efficient manner. Additionally, we do have employee issues that we have to deal with. And that's tasked on one position. And that's not fair to that position. It's not fair to our employees. Tonight, I wanted to take a minute to introduce the 2 people that did fill that role. So fast forward a couple months, we have those positions filled with amazing candidates. I do want to say that all the applicants were strong applicants. And I think we got some of the best of the best. And that's an amazing feeling knowing that we had that many people care enough about the community and what we're trying to do here. And just real quick, community relations, we got Myra Miller. And then HR, Stephanie Paulson is joining our team. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Justin. And welcome aboard.
Thank
you. Okay, now we'll move on down to the item 3 here, which is a presentation by Lyle Warren.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I'm actually not going to do most of any talking, I guess, but I do want to introduce Michelle Christopher. She is with the Wyoming Association of Rural Water Systems. So she will kind of go over this program, answer any questions. We also do have Carly Brown and Robert Nully from the treatment plant and myself, so if you do have any questions for staff. But otherwise, I'll let Michelle talk to you guys.
Okay.
Good evening.
So I'm here to present about WyoWarn. It's a water and wastewater aid response network. It came out of the idea that in Katrina, no one can help our system like there's no water system. And so what this is it's a mutual memorandum of understanding, it's a mutual aid agreement that allows when you're in the network, then if you have an emergency, and this could be small, or as big as the town flooded, or something more catastrophic. And it allows the systems within the network to share resources and personnel, and there's a cost, it sets up kind of a cost reimbursement structure, and that's agreed on when you request aid. So, any questions about it, or?
So would this be sharing resources between counties or between towns?
So what this is when you're in, a good example is once upon a time I was director of public works for that, right? So we had a pump motor burn out, and this was the only pump that pressurized the tank in bags. So it's kind of a crucial piece of infrastructure, right? And in the meantime, we called in WyoWarn and said, here's the numbers off of our pump. And City of Cheyenne was just phenomenal. They went out in their boneyard and they're like, oh, this one's close. And in the meantime, we were able to figure out how to use a different pump through a series of valves to get what we needed done. But they had a truck and a pump waiting for me. So it's a phenomenal resource to have. And so it's free to join and you're never obligated to respond. As you're moving at I'll be the first response. So if you're in your own devices, you have to respond. If you're very short staffed, you don't have to respond. However, if you've got that critical piece of infrastructure that they need, or if you've got some bodies that can help another system manhole or flush hydrants or do water testing, then by all means send them, but you're never obligated.
So does they act like a middleman then? Like, so my pump breaks down, I'm gonna call them and then do they go chase everything down for us? Or do they just give you, well, here's the people you can call, like, here's the list of the.
So how it works is, I'm also one of the regional contacts for WyoWarn, and you're in Carbon County, so you're in my region. And so what you would do is, let's say something very bad happened at your wastewater facility, just an example. Then you would contact your regional coordinator, either me or Chuck McVeigh in Saratoga, where your contacts, and then you would give us kind of a rundown of, okay, this is what happened, this is what we need. And there's kind of a protocol and there's forms and to kind of help you streamline it. So you say, okay, these are the things we need, and then we send it out to the other chairs, the other contacts, and the other systems within the WyoWarn network, and then we say, okay, Rollins had their wastewater plant go down. They need trash pumps, they need valves, they need, whatever. And then that's just, let's say Gillette has the part. And then Gillette would contact you directly and say, okay, this is what we have, this is what we're thinking about, you can have the part and then replace it when it's in because it's faster, we put it down today. And then, you guys broker the deal and you set it up. So we're just kind of WyoWarn does a couple things. Memorandum of understanding. So this has gone through this level. It kind of protects the communities, and then it also sets up that framework for reimbursement through FEMA.
So you mentioned that it was free to join.
Yep.
So where does the funding come from for the organization to operate?
A lot of the organization work is largely volunteer. My association, Wyoming Rural Water Systems, we're kind of the keeper of the files. And then we have board members that are elected. We have a president and a secretary.
So mostly volunteer type.
It's pretty much volunteer, and then there's a little bit that comes through our association.
So what you need from the council is for somebody to make a motion of some kind to join the organization, or?
So what you would do is you would make the motion to join, there's memorandum of understanding on our website. I don't know if you guys have it printed off.
It's in their packet, or on the agenda.
Okay,
Mutual aid.
the mutual aid agreement. And so your council president or mayor and your city attorney would sign, and then you would mail, keep a copy for yourself and mail an original copy to,
That's a good idea.
I would like to know from Robert and Carly if your, department head and your staff recommend and would like to join this, or what are your recommendations?
I highly recommend it. It's a great program. I've seen it help multiple other systems around the state. I'm also a board member of WWQ and PCA, so I get to hear a lot of those stories at those conferences about how it has benefited those people. So I think for us, rather, it could be more of a preventative type of thing to be a part of this rather than look, months down the road and saying, oh, hey, well, now we have to wait 128 days for this part to be specially built for our plants when Cheyenne down the road, we this whole time. So.
One other question. I'd like to see the MOU before we have any action taken on that, so we could do this at another time, but I'd like to have that in front of my face. Did I not read it?
No, I'm sorry.
So what my recommendation would be is for this council to think about this. We will work.
It is not on the
with
agenda.
MOU to ensure that's proper and we can bring this back to an action item because this is only correspondence. So.
yeah, absolutely. You guys don't need to, I would hate for you guys to make a decision in haste. But, I'm available, Carly's available, if you guys have any questions. Do you have my contact information?
I believe we have it here. Brochure.
I did send it in the email, but I could send that again if you guys would like me to.
Yeah, I have it right here.
I promise if there's.
How many municipalities are part of the
Sure.
We have, the bigger systems, you can see pretty much everybody in Carbon County but Rollins.
And there's, some airports on here and larger cities and so forth.
Right, any
So-
public water system is eligible to join, so, we have systems that aren't necessarily municipalities. Special district. But if they're a public water system, they're eligible.
Any more questions for Michelle? Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll move on down to the minutes. If we can get the approval of minutes of May 19th, 2020 regular meeting. Councilwoman Wells.
I'm motion to approve the city council regular meeting minutes of May 19, 2020 as presented.
Second. Okay, Councilman Sanger seconds. Is there any objections to that motion that was made? Okay. Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Smith abstaining.
We'll move on down to item B, approval of the minutes of May 28th, 2020 special meeting. Councilman Martinez.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of May the 28th, 2020 special meeting.
First and second. Any objections to that motion that was made? Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Now we'll move on down to correspondence and reports. Move on down to agenda, approve tonight's agenda. Councilman Martinez.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented. There's no corrections.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any objections to that motion that was made? Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Now we'll move on down to unfinished business. The second reading of fiscal year 2020-21 budget. I'd like to make a motion to approve on second reading with the changes to the nonprofits to take the $25,000 that the airport did not use and divide it equally amongst the 9 nonprofits, which would increase their annual amount by $2,778 each, which would bring the senior citizens up to $17,778, child development to $11,778, Project Reach $10,778, Cove $12,778, Boys and Girls Club to $17,778, Cathedral Home for Children $12,778, Carbon County Counseling Center $12,778, Children's Advocacy Project $5,777, and Pet Partners at $12,777. Okay, I have a first and a second. Any discussion on that? Councilman Martinez?
I don't know if I got a discussion, but I want to make an amendment to that.
Okay.
I would like to see us raise the Carbon County Counseling to 15,000, which is half what they asked. Now's the time when, with the rise of mental health problems in our state, in our community, I think it's a good time that we put a little bit more money into it. And so I would amend the motion to include that.
Okay. With that, we'd have to figure out what to do, how to take the money away from somebody else. Councilman
I
Slang?
have a question and a concern. I would like to ask Councilman Jers, we've allotted $25,000 and it's staying that way. Do you have any assurances that you will receive your COVID money or whatever you're applying for? Or are you applying for it? Here's the problem, I don't want to short the airport board the allotment that we've got until we're absolutely sure that you can get the money to replace it.
So, with the caveat that I would never guarantee anything until it's done, right? I have no reason to think that there'll be a problem to get that money. We have not physically received it yet. Tonight, we have on our agenda here in a little bit to do an approval. Before we can put in for that CARES Act, we have to, as a council body sponsor for that money, we have to have a vote in here before we can approve it. Once it's voted on tonight and it is approved, then the mayor can sign off on the city sponsorship, and then the airport will sign off on it and the county will, and that would just trigger it to all go in.
Is it flowing through the state or through the federal government, or is this part of the package that the state government received, or is it through
Amy may know a little bit, this is coming from the feds. I believe it's being distributed via the state, but it is all federal money. And she's coming from the CARES grant. The secondary part of that they did is that all grants, they eliminated any matching portions for this year as well. So that's part of, some airports just got some money and then some grants were just, the match was removed and so it just became 100.
I have a concern, Mayor, that I'm not quite ready to divvy up that money yet because we've all agreed on basically the package. But I would like to know that you folks are going to have the airport board can have its money in hand before I start doing.
Councilman Martinez?
To answer your question in regard to having to change the other non-profits, you would have to come up with the money to add on.
So you'd like to take it, so basically to do that, we need to take another $2,222 out of the general fund to add to that to increase.
Make it 15. So that's what my amendment would be. To start out with, I was actually going to ask for those funds and lower another agency's funds, but I don't need to do that since the airport is willing to put back the monies that we gave them. I thought that this would be the proper place to put it.
Okay, so you'd like to amend your motion to say that an additional $2,220 is come out of?
To add, I believe we gave them 9, wasn't it?
They were at 9, and we bumped them to 12,778,
Yeah, 12, so
and you want to bump it to 15.
15.
So we take another 2,222 out of general fund to add to that.
As it sat originally, to start this discussion, it's 10,000 for council.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. So we did take it to 10, and then we added another 2,778 to it, and we divided the airport up. So we need another 2,222 out of general fund to add to nonprofits to increase that and keep the others where, the motion that I said.
But it wouldn't have to come out of the general fund if the airport's gonna give back the monies that they were gonna receive anyway. See what I'm saying?
No, Councilman Martinez, Mr. Mayor has requested that 25,000 be split amongst the 9 nonprofits.
He can request whatever he liked.
That's what the motion is.
The motion was was it?
That's what the motion was.
Yes, I motion on
The
that.
motion on the
That's
floor
fine,
is that.
okay. So
And your motion then brings counseling center up to 15, so we would need $1,000 more.
Okay, so then, I would call for the question on the amendment to increase the, Carbon County Council to 15. And then we, take the money out of the general account,
Okay.
if that's what it takes. I didn't think we had to take it out of the general account.
Well, it all depends on what, the motion I made took that 25,000 and divided it
I
equally.
understand that.
Right, so if we want to disregard that motion and go with your motion, then none of those would that money wouldn't get split up. We would just take the additional amount from the airport and add it to the counseling center and not give the others an increase.
It's $20,000.
Correct, yes,
And we're
25,000.
taking $2,500 out of it.
correct.
Okay, so the difference could be split up to the other nonprofits.
Okay, but that's how the motion would have to say. We have to define that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That would be the motion.
You called the question.
yeah, okay.
So, wait,
Listen,
for
we can call a
clarification.
question, we're not past discussion.
Because the question wasn't on what you had just said. So it wasn't clarified enough the question would be just to vote on this with the additional amount to the council center and not to the others. Which I'm fine whichever way, but that's what the original motion was.
Addition to your motion, to split the money. See what I'm saying? That's an addition to what you just said. We want to take all this money and split it. My amendment would say that we'll give 15 to.
So give 15 to council center, then take with the balance and divide it between the 9 equally.
Exactly.
Okay.
That would be my.
That would be your motion.
That would be my.
Who's
Is that
second?
what you seconded?
No, that I would not second that.
Okay. So, and you were the one that seconded?
Yes, so
He seconded the original under this interpretation.
Okay, Louis seconded
First-
Jamar.
First motion.
So
Your motion, I second.
And so, can I step in?
Yes, please.
So there's an amendment to the motion, it's a different motion.
Correct.
That what I put here, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I'll fix it. But Councilmember Martinez moved to amend the motion to increase Carbon County Counseling Center to $15,000 from the general fund. Second by Councilmember Durst. So that's a different motion completely than what your motion is,
Correct.
which is the original motion.
Correct. So Davari amended that motion to say, to increase them to 15 and then take the balance of the money and divide it amongst the other 8.
I see it two different motions, so you take a vote on this one, and if it passes, then you go to the next one. To your original motion.
So I think,
Councilwoman.
If you change the amendment and the amendment passes, does that negate the original motion?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it don't.
yes, so pass the amendment will cover it.
It does.
It will change
Yes.
it.
So it'll supersede the first motion.
No, it
So
will
then,
supersede
it-
it.
so then what that motion would be is the counseling center would get the 15, the other nonprofits would get what the original amount was.
No,
Go
the
back to the
process,
second
they would get, the counseling center would get the 15,000 and then the balance of the 25,000.
Well, that's not what the motion says.
But
The
the,
motion-
the original motion does, you go back to that original motion and vote on it.
That one could be defeated because if you wanted to, that one could be defeated because I did exactly what you said, other than I added $2,500 to Carbon County Council.
From the general fund or?
No, from the 20,000 that was released by the.
So in order to do that, we'd have to subtract $277.75 from,
Each one.
So Kim,
that's what you have.
Well, well, I guess my question is, I'm really confused here, folks. I really am. Sorry, Barney, but with the motion that you just read, if I understand this right, if we vote on that motion and it passes, then we will still vote on the original motion?
You could, yes, you'd have to.
What's the
But you
amendment
could kill it
state?
because-
What's the amendment language?
Wait a minute.
Move to amend the motion to increase the Carbon County Counseling Center to $15,000 from the general fund.
No, but we changed that, excuse me, Marla, we changed that so that the money comes out of the $20,000 that was given back from the airport.
done that talk. Can I just ask, I think I can clarify this, maybe? Let me ask you this. This is what I thought you wanted. Okay, let's just say we divvy the money across, okay? With 2778 across them evenly, okay? What I thought you then wanted to, so then that puts the counseling center at 12,778. Okay, so I thought what your motion was to then add from the general fund another 2,000 on top of that to make it a 15 even. That's what I thought you wanted to do.
That was thrown into the discussion. But as we talked last council meeting, you said it was $20,000 that you were returning back to the city.
Okay, but I'm talking about your motion.
Okay, my motion, I understand. My motion was to increase the Carbon County Counseling Center to $15,000. If the money come from, you said it has to come from the general fund, it doesn't. It can come from the 20,000.
If that's the way the motion's made, yes.
That's what the motion will be.
So you would take 5,000 and put it to the counseling center and lower it everybody else.
Can you withdraw both motions and start over? Yes, that'd be the way to do it.
Okay, so
I think that would be the best approach.
So,
And just remember, anything that you go above what is budgeted, you have to pull from somewhere else.
Right.
So if the airport board was granted $20,000 or $25,000, the council has discretion to reallocate 25,000. If you go above and beyond that, you have to identify which
Where it's
part it's coming from.
so if you could withdraw your motion,
Okay.
and whoever seconded it, who seconded it?
All right, well, I'm gonna,
Okay,
withdraw.
I will withdraw my motion.
Start over. Made a motion to go to me.
Yes, that would be fine.
Make the motion, okay.
I would make a motion that we increase the carbon counseling to 15,000. The remainder of that money, which I don't know exactly what it was, the remainder of that money would be divided amongst the
Rest of my,
other nonprofit organizations.
okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
I think we were clear as much.
Question.
Councilman,
So I'm going back to you, so now what you said, you had already run the numbers, so just tell me, in order to maintain that motion, what gets removed from everybody else?
$277.25. That's the other 8 entities, there's 9 total entities.
Right.
You're adding $2,222 to counseling center above what they already been given. That, you're gonna take that $2,222 and divide it among the other 8 that are still left, which is $2,277.25. So you just subtract that from every single one, all the other ones that are left.
Okay.
I still strongly object to doing this because we don't know. We don't have any official letters, Aaron, and I'm not disputing the order. I don't feel good about taking that money when we know that they have.
This is the second reading, so we still have a third reading.
Could we maybe wait one more? You wouldn't know in another month.
I don't know. Maybe, if everybody signs off on it, maybe.
Well, it would be another month, it would be 2 more
Oh,
weeks.
no, because we have to.
I really don't want to handicap this one more.
Can we not put the caveat that so long as that funding comes through, this is what we're going to do?
Well, we could.
I don't think we do that on the budget.
Allocate it after we drop the money and then we can go with an amendment to the budget if Clemens.
It would, but then I'd have to.
So I would say you have 2 options. You can,
I would think if you couldn't come back,
either I do a budget amendment and I have to find 25,000 somewhere in the general fund, or we have to come back and.
Oh, we've done it a number. We've done it a number of times. You could come back with a budget after we pass it. If we don't get the money from the federal government, you can always come back and re-amend the budget, go back the way we were.
But depending on the timing of that, we may have the first allocation out already.
It's easier to give it up after they get their letter.
I would have concerns.
I'll tell you what, so to address your concern, in the meantime, let me see what I can get for some kind of a letter, or, because I have an extension letter that I can provide, but the extension date has been put out. Let me see what I can get for that as far as, and then that way, by the time with the third reading, maybe I can give you a little bit more tangible information.
You know, if we went through this tonight, we had the third reading. So on the third reading, if something doesn't seem that we're comfortable with it, we can always make a motion to go back to the original numbers and put the 25,000 back in the airport's fund.
That's it.
I just want the council to be aware, upon third and final reading, my office does prepare agreements for all the nonprofits, and it includes your award. Once we hit that and there's signed agreements, it would be very difficult to backtrack.
Right. My point was that if we did pass this tonight, we could change it on third reading and go back to where we're at. So we still have time to go either direction. I think the trouble we just went through to actually get a motion on the table, I think we should go through with it. Any objections to the motion that was made? Or any further
I
questions?
actually would like to see us put more money, but I will save that fight.
So other than page 75 and 76, does this council have any questions on the 166 pages?
Oh, there's more? No, sir. Marta, would you open on that, please?
Online voting is closed. Closed, and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Smith nay.
Okay. I'll move on down to new business, approval of the payroll. Councilman Wells?
I move to approve the May 10th, 2020 through May 23rd, 2020 payroll register for $217,273.56.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any objections to that motion that was made? Marta, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
We'll move on down to the approval of accounts payable. Councilman Singer.
I move to approve the accounts payable register for the period of May 15, 2020 to May 28, 2020 in the amount of $196,740.97.
Second. First and a second. Any objections or questions to that motion? Marla, would you want to go, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
We'll move on down to item C, to approve an FAA 100% allowable cost grant for the Rollins-Carbon County Airport Harvey Field to rehabilitate runway 4/22 and reconstruct runway 4/22 lighting. Do you have anybody to speak on that, or?
Am I speaking on this or? are you? I'm good with it, I didn't know.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the FAA CARES Act grant for the Rollins-Carbon County Airport.
The next one.
Your one passes, Marty.
Oh,
You're on D, we want to be on C.
we're on this, okay. Motion, excuse me. Make a motion to approve the FAA 100% allowable cost grant for the Rollins-Carbon County Airport, Harvey Field, rehabilitation runway.
We get a second? Councilman Wells seconds that? Okay, discussion.
Honorable Mayor, members of council, the Rollins-Carbon County Airport is a joint powers board that has the operations and maintenance and the daily schedule of the airport performed by the Rollins-Carbon County Airport Board. In addition, there's governing bodies of Carbon County as well as the city of Rollins that have authority over that joint powers agreement. What's presented to you tonight is a $5,741,197 grant. It's 100% reimbursable. The purpose of that grant is to provide runway and rehabilitation lights for specific runways, and you can probably speak better to that. What's of note to the governing body in this instance is that runway grant is conditional upon grant number 2, which is replacement of the NAVID system. The amount of that grant is $88,350. What's important for this governing body to note is there's 2 different funding sources. The runway rehabilitation and lights grant is funded by the FAA Supplemental Discretionary Fund, and the replacement of the NAVID system is funded through the FAA Entitlement Grant. What's important to note is while the first grant has been applied for and awarded, and you will be accepting or requesting your acceptance tonight, the NAVID system or grant number 2 has not been awarded. So technically, that $88,350 is in question in order for you to be eligible for the $5.7 million grant. The airport board, joint powers board, has to be able to state that they will come in, and should that funding not be available for the $88,350, that they will ensure that that portion of the grant is completed. The good news for the governing body is while it will be extremely tight for the Rollins-Carbon County Airport Board, they do currently have some funds in a contingency fund.
Yeah.
And so they do not believe that they would have to go to either Carbon County or the city of Rollins in the worst case scenario. But it is a financial risk, so this governing body needs to be aware of that as you approve it. 5.7 million, 88,000 over here. Do you have any questions?
So to be clear, so you're saying that should they not get their 88,000 plus, they do have contingency which to cost will be after 5.4 million. And they're willing to do that. Okay.
Well, it would suck, right? Because that's more an emergency thing. It could be covered without coming to anybody for anything. And this, just a quick history, originally started about a million project. When they went out there and started inspecting the runway, they found out that, you know, like the quick mill and rehab that was gonna happen isn't gonna work out because of extra damage on the runway. So this ended up almost tripling into just shy of a $6 million. And this is the entire runway, the crosswind, new lights. This is a complete update of that. And assuming that 88,000 got paid, that's 100% correct.
Councilmember
Where does the county fit in on this grant?
They just like the city of Rollins, they just as a sponsor to accept. So there's three sponsors, the board, the city, and the county. Basically, as three adult supervisors, we all have to agree that we will move forward with this.
So they'll bring this up before the county.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
got it.
Any other questions? Marla, would you open online voting, please?
I do have a quick protocol. Do I need to abstain? Just making sure.
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Durst abstaining.
Now we'll move on down to item D, the approval of the FAA CARES Act grant for the Rollins Carbon County Airport Party Field. The motion, Councilman
I
Smith.
would move to approve the coronavirus aid relief and economic security CARES Act grant up to $20,000. And authorize Mayor Steve Nicholson to execute all documents relative to this FAA grant on behalf of the governing body of the city of Rollins.
Second that.
Honorable Mayor and Council, what comes before you is the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act grant that the Rollins Carbon County Airport was eligible to apply for. As previously stated, the maximum amount that the airport will be awarded is $20,000. They're leaving money on the table by returning it to the other nonprofits. I believe your award was $25,000, so thank you to the airport board for willingness to do that for the other nonprofits that are struggling. In this instance, it's not tied to any other project or grant necessity. It just has conditions and limitations for what it may be used for.
And one of those conditions is the operations of the airport, which is 90% of what the funds out there get spent.
Any questions? Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Durst abstaining.
I'll move on down to item 8, executive session. If I can get a motion. Councilwoman Smith.
Yes, I move that we go into executive session at 8:13 p.m. pursuant to one statute 64,405 to executive plan, right to practice or dismiss of a public officer, professional person or employee, or to hear complaints or charges brought against an employee, professional person or officer unless the employee, professional person or officer requests a public hearing. Public, private, any and all other witnesses in the matter being investigated. Following the hearing or executive session, the governing body may deliberate on its decision in executive session. 3, on matters concerning litigation to which the governing body is a party or proposed litigation to which the governing body may be a party. And 9, to consider or receive any information classified as confidential by law.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Councilman Stanger, I believe, is first. Is there any objections to the motion that was made? Okay, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Executive session.